Hey everybody, it's Karen and Ben, and Ben and Karen. This is day 3 of the Julius Baer Generation Cup Champions Chess Tour. The position on the board is the final position from yesterday between Sam Sevian and Min Lee, which Sam won due to winning on time and checkmate in one. Good reason. Exactly, to just him. So let me go to the bracket. Go bracket. So this is the bracket for the winners group. As you can see here, where I'm circling, that's Sevia Mamajarov. That's the final match for the winners, which is the only winners match today. And whoever wins that plays in the grand finale on Sunday. The winners group doesn't play tomorrow, just the losers group. And then the losers bracket is here. They have 8 players left in the losers bracket. So we have Salinas Herrera versus Bortnik, Bakro versus Andreikin. Andreikin beating Kramnik last round. Geary versus Theodoru. Theodoru won his match against Makarian with King and Queen versus King and Queen, and there was no increment. So Makarian lost on time. And then Komsky versus Kuzubov in the Battle of the Ks. And so forth. So those 8 players will get down to 1 player eventually, and then they'll play the winner of, on Sunday, they'll play the winner of this match, Mamajarov Sevian, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. So somehow, whoever loses this match, the Mamajarov Sevian match, should be thrown in the losers bracket, but I don't know how they're going to do that.
Hey, Biggest Pepsi.
That's a good question.
Hey, C Poker P.
I guess they're going to play the. Yeah, you can see the bracket goes on, but it's off the screen. So I think the winners of these matches play each other, and then those winners play, and then they play the loser of the next match. That's why tomorrow there's matches between the losers brackets. Makes sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but makes some sense. So I guess the loser of the winners bracket today will play the person who wins the losers bracket, and that'll be the final of the losers bracket, and they'll play again. So it's possible we'll see a rematch of Mamajarov Sevian in the grand final, if it comes to that. All right, very complicated. Let's refresh. It's 11, so the games should be popping up soon from today. So there should be, to start, 5 games. 4 games in the losers bracket, and then Mamajarov Sevian in the winners bracket.
I brought a snack.
Yeah, so far the game hasn't popped up. I guess the players are tired too. They haven't started yet. Is there a clear favorite to win? There is not. Also, that's the wrong there. There's an arrow on the right. That's right. Let's see if they're slacking me They are. Oh, I have to accept the squad stream.
Oh, yeah. Is anybody playing any chess tournaments this weekend? There usually are a lot Labor Day weekend in U.S. There's Alto.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm going to eat my snack while we
Oh, here
watch
it
the
is.
chess. I walked 5 miles this morning. I'm hungry. Thank you.
Okay, should have worked.
Thank you for the sub, Pulsering. I'm so happy we don't have to hear the dings of those anymore. We do miss some occasionally.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the sub.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see if they've started yet. There we go.
Sikomsky losers.
That's the 4 losers, but no winners game. All right, so we have Geary versus Theodoro. We have an advanced French. Started with the normal move order.
Yay, my favorite.
And then Geary played knight d6 mate. Oh, wait, this isn't Bughouse. Okay, so instead he castled. And this is Geary Theodoro from the loser's bracket. This is Kamsky Kuzubov, played at London. Okay, still in preparation in theory. This is a Berlin in Bakro versus Andraken. Okay, and Salinas Herrera versus Bortnik. B4 is a little unusual. Okay, so we have a little unusual position here in Salinas versus Bortnik. Let me find the winner's game, if it's there. Those prima donnas in the winners, they haven't started yet. No, still haven't started. Not sure why. Maybe because they're playing one match, they start later. Shaq Sam match starting. Okay. So they're starting too. This is the Geary game. Black played knife f5. Geary took on c5, a5, stopping white from playing b4. Knight a3. Knight wants to hop in here. Bishop takes, knight b5. That's the problem with a5 is you weaken the b5 square. So white's going to play a4 and solidify his knight. And white has to make sure he doesn't lose his pawn on e5. But you can play bishop f4 if it gets attacked. So should be okay. Should be good. Let's see. They traded on d5. So bishop. So f6 was played. Takes with the pawn on c3, which is a little unusual. Yeah, and this is actually an exchange Slav with the knight on d2 instead of c3. This looks like my game with Julio Becerra from the National Open about 15 years ago. But my knight was here. It's a crazy game I won. Same pawn structure. Okay, we have a Berlin in Bakro versus Andraken. Players are blitzing out their moves, and after the move bishop to b2, Andraken is thinking. And he plays h4. His first think of the game.
Welcome, Pulsarang. And good morning, Mikakov.
Probably instead of bishop b2, he was more familiar with knight f4. That's typically White's idea. White trades off the knights, puts his bishop on f4, and hopes to play e6 and bishop takes c7. But with the bishop here, that should be fine. If you play fe, then that's not so good. So he played bishop b2 instead. But, why's the knight on e2 if he's not going to play knight f4? So we'll see. And for those of you who tuned in late or forgot, black can't castle, because this is a Berlin, so black played king takes d8 and then moved his king back to e8. Let me get rid of this game from yesterday. Queen b2 question mark. Queen c1 question mark. Man, tough engine. Man, it really hates those moves. You're lining up your queen with the bishop, so it wants black to play e5 and punish white on the diagonal. It doesn't seem like it's winning or anything, but it likes black a lot after e5. This is Bortnick's game. Okay, I'm sure the other game started by now, except for one thing. Here we go. Mamedyarov has the white pieces in game 1 against Savian. This is the winner's bracket. We have a Nimzo Indian, queen c2, which is what I play. d5, takes.
Do you have a favorite here?
Mamedyarov is the favorite. He's a higher rated player. But, it's rapid, so it's all 50-50. Okay, I played this with white. And here you can either take or play bishop h4. I've played them both. I usually take. Okay, you played bishop h4. Then they play like c5 and g5 and knight e4, knight d7, etc. So he just castled. It's a little unusual. Bishop g4. Okay, I haven't seen this. I don't know castles on bishop g4. Now, this just seems better for white. It says both sides are playing 100. Yeah, this is an unusual line black is playing. Black typically plays more aggressively with g5, knight e4, c5, queen a5. Letting white play knight e2 quickly, defending his knight, and castle quickly. Usually white's just a little bit better then. So Mamedyarov, as per usual, has a big time advantage. What about Nepo's game? Well, he's not playing in this section. I think he's playing in Division 2. That's different coverage, if it's covered at all. Yeah, Jan's playing in Division 2. This is Division 3. You are new here. Good, good. And you're a sub. Thanks for subbing. Okay, so we got more games in the French, advanced French with Geary. Bishop d3. Queen b6 question mark. a4, as advocated earlier. Knight a7. Knight d4. Knight c6. And if Geary's Geary, he'll go here, and then they'll repeat. But no, he won't do that. Okay, so white seems like he's better. Black's repeating, trying to draw. Kamsky Kuzubov. Looks like black has equalized. Played b4. A b5 attacking the knight. So black can take and white will take, or black can just play knight e7 or knight a5. All the moves are okay. Probably he'll play knight e7.
Hey, Sporbital, how's it going?
This is about equal.
You mean Newman or Neiman? Neiman wasn't invited to this. He just got unbanned 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay, black's playing h5, h4, a5, a4, and king d8, king e8. So if you want to be a grandmaster, kids, now you know how to play chess. Move your king a lot, don't castle, and move your a and h pawns. And then the engine says black is slightly better. Man, truth hurts. Black has his 2 bishops.
Chess Dojo covers Division 2. Poker's going well, Sporbital. I'm studying and playing. Nothing new to report.
All right, we have some interesting moves in this game. After queen b2, he did play e5, engine approved. BC, queen b7. So that's interesting play from Salinas. Queen c1, queen b2, queen b7. That's how I play. Not good, but knight e4. It's reasonable. So white's trying to get his queen trapped. And he might win a pawn, though. So, you know, pretty good. Yeah, the engine really hates white's position. It doesn't like this queen sortie. But okay, it's a rapid game. So sometimes you take the pawn and you live to tell the tale. And sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in Mamajarov's game, Sevian played knight c6, and Mamajarov castled. Yeah, I'd be very happy if I was white in this position, if this was the opening and my opponent played this way.
Hey, Abdul, how's it going?
Sam's a little on the slow side and rapid, and has a time disadvantage in a lot of his games. And Mamajarov is the opposite, and they're living up to their reputations here. White has a 5-minute time advantage, which is a lot in a 15-minute game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I prefer white. Takes on d4. Yeah, this bishop is out of play, and at some point, white could play g4 and just win a pawn. Because the bishop has to go here. Black may think about attacking this weak pawn here with something like bishop a5, bishop e6. Okay, he plays g5, very weakening. White can put his bishop on either square. Could also play bishop e1, but I'm not really a bishop e1 fan.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, bishop f2 makes sense because the d pawn's weak. That was commentary on Division 2 that you just heard.
My earbud died, so I just didn't realize I was still connected.
I guess if g4, black's going to sack a piece because bishop g6 just seems to lose immediately. The engine doesn't play g4. So I guess sacrificing a piece with bishop takes, knight takes is reasonable. Doesn't look reasonable. Oh, okay. I understand. If you play g4, we throw in knight b4, then we take the bishop, then we play bishop g6. Yeah, I was like, g4 looks good. So he played a3, stopping knight b4. Now g4 is a threat. So black played king g7. So after g4, he can play bishop g6. That makes sense. Knight g3 question mark. It makes too much sense. Yeah, this move seems very reasonable. Yeah, he'll probably play knight f5 check and get the two bishops. So these isolated pawns are weak, but they're in front of each other, and you can see how both sides are defending their pawns. Well, this seems like Savian's escaped the worst of it. He just has a slightly worse position. It's not a big deal. His time situation's not great. All right, let's go back to the Geary game and the advanced French. He played knight b3, bishop e7. Eventually he doubled the pawns. Bishop e3, queen d2. You can't play knight takes e5 because I'll take it, you'll take, and I can play bishop c5 and unleash this attack on all your pieces. So you gotta be careful there when you put stuff on the e file when there's discovered attack. So he played rook e8. Now bishop f4. Bishop has to go to e6 to stop e6. And white's just slightly better here. White can blockade on d4 with either knight. And, you know, black doesn't have a lot of active play. Black is just going to sit tight and say, like, I'm solid. There's nothing you can do. But, yeah, I'll take white here. Geary, for reasons I don't understand, is playing incredibly slowly. So he has a 5-minute time disadvantage. So that's good for Theodorou. Let's see, Kamsky's, and his opponent have blocked up the king side. Bishop e2 was nice to play knight d3. Always play bishop f8. Okay, and the engine says it's equal. Kuzubov has a nice time advantage against Kamsky. Bishop on c8 is not very good. Kamsky probably likes this position because his knights have access to these nice squares. Black's knight can't get to e4 easily, and the bishop on c8 is not very good. Yeah, black wants to get his knight to e4, but that would take like 5 moves to accomplish. You have to move his king and play knight g8, f6, e4. It's more likely at some point in the game black's going to try to play h4, use his knight that way to bust open the king side. Oh, this is interesting. The engine says knight h8 is a good move with the idea of knight f7 to d6 to e4. Yeah, I forgot about knight h8. That would get to e4 more quickly. Okay, so Kamsky's position is about equal, and Kamsky has a big time advantage, over 4 minutes. It's Kuzubov. Okay, we saw some busting through here. Let's see how that happened. This is Bakro versus Andreikin. E6 question mark. Because he wants to take this, I guess. But that seems not the best. Black should just play bishop takes e6 here, according to the engine. But he played f6, which you should never play. He wants to win the pawn for free. He doesn't want to give away his g7 pawn. Knight d4. Bishop b7. g4 attacking the rook. hg en passant. Knight g3. The knights want to go into f5, sacrificing his h-pawn, and knight d to f5. So white's down a pawn, but white's going to play rook d7, and knight takes g7 check. The pawn on e6 is really good, and the extra black pawn is this doubled pawn. So the engine prefers white here. It doesn't like the move f6. It doesn't like bishop b7. So not only is Andrakin have a worse position against Bakro, even more important is his time situation. Bakro has 10.5 minutes, and Bakro's not a fast player. Bakro gets in time trouble in 15 minutes, and Andrakin has less than 2 minutes. So he played bishop c8 after playing bishop b7, putting pressure on this pawn. Now the engine wants to play knight g7 check, king f8, then knight h5, defending the knight, so the knight defends the e-pawn. So everything's defending itself. And then eventually white will sacrifice the exchange and have some kind of mating attack. That's the plan. Could also play rook d7 here, sacrificing the exchange to get, pass pawn on the 7th rank or get his rook on the 7th rank. But he'll probably play knight takes g7 check. Okay, huge time advantage for Bakro, so looking good for him. What? Bishop f1 is a miss. Always play bishop f1. Okay, knight e4 was played. cd, knight c3, attacking the bishop. Bishop a6. cd, rook c1. Queen a5 question mark. Now it wants white to play bishop b4, but he played bishop f1 instead. And this queen's in a little bit of trouble. We can attack the queen and so forth. The queen's not in a great position. It is if you want to get it trapped. So black has a nice advantage here. Knight on c3 is annoying, and the queen is in some trouble here. Probably he won't lose his queen, but he'll have to move his queen a lot and make sure he doesn't lose it. Queen c6, rook c8 is going to happen. So it's looking good for Bortnik. Bortnik with an advantage against Salinas Herrera. In the winner's game, we saw this position, and Sevian played knight e7, bishop d3, knight g6, rook e1, rook c8, g3, stopping the knight from going to f4, rook c6, rook e2.
Thank you, Stoic Flame, and good morning, the Cocooler.
White has a slight advantage. White has 2 bishops, and e-file is probably more important than the c-file. Yay, thanks for the raid, Road to GM 3000. Give him a shout out.
Thank you for the raid.
Thanks for the shout out. More than one shout out. Good job. More than one shout out. What else? So Sevian's slightly worse and slightly worse on the clock, but still holdable. The 2 bishops aren't really showing their 2 bishops yet. That'll have to happen in 20 moves for this bishop to get active. Okay, Giri's game is heating up. Bishop h4, g5. Very suspicious. Giri always sacrifices the exchange with rook takes h4. Now he plays bishop g5 to play bishop f6 check. What would Lisa Simpson say about that?
I have no idea.
She'd say a blockaded bishop is of little value. She did say that once.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about it.
Bart said, I feel like that piece in chess that doesn't matter. And Lisa said, a blockaded bishop is of little value, but I think you're talking about a pawn, Bart. And Bart says, yeah, that's me. I'm a pawn. The pawn structure is not very good. Terrible. Yeah, bishop f6, h4, h5. And black's rooks are impotent. Terrible. Yeah, very good exchange sacrifice from Geary. Black just has no counterplay. Yeah, white can do a rook lift. White can play h4, h5. Black can't do anything. Black is just stuck here. So if you're a Geary fan, it's looking good for Geary. Okay, Kamsky, Kuzubov, still equal.
How do I not know the Lisa quote? You know, I don't watch The Simpsons. I know he's told it a million times. I've heard it. I don't care about it. Therefore, I can't remember it.
All right, so this game's going to be a draw. Kamsky's going to try to win because Kamsky has 5 minutes more on the clock, but it's not really a good way to try to win here. It's all blocked up. Nobody can do anything. So this game should end in a draw between Kamsky and Kuzubov. All right, what happened here? He played rook e2. He didn't play knight takes g7 check. Bakro. The engine doesn't approve. Rook h7, defending his pawn. The engine actually wants to play bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. All right, and black is fine again. Black's up a pawn, and white doesn't really have any chances to win these pawns anymore. And black's threatening f2. And again, Andreykin's playing too slowly this game. He's 5 minutes behind on the clock. There is increment, but still, that's a big time disadvantage in a complicated position like this. All right, let's see. His queen is still in the trap zone. Still worse for white. Selena's having a tough time against Bortnik. And this is the game with Mamedyarov and Sevian from the winners group. They're maneuvering around. And white's still slightly better. White's got pressure on d5. He's got pressure on f5. Black is sort of passive. And Sevian has a time disadvantage also of over 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes to be exact. Yeah, this is a really pathetic position for Theodoru. But Geary has less than 2 minutes. Geary's messed up in time trouble before. But yeah, but black just can't move here. Black has no plan. Black just waits to lose, basically. Very unpleasant for black. After b3, the engine takes the knight, which he won't do. He'll put his rook back to c8 probably. Okay, nothing's happening in this game. Hard for anybody to do anything. This bishop can't really do anything. So white doesn't really have any plan. White's going to try to infiltrate with his queen, but getting his queen to the h-file is not easy because then black can infiltrate. So this game will be a draw. We see some mistakes here. After bishop c5, he played bishop d4. And black played knight e5. It doesn't like that move. It wanted to play bishop f8 again. But knight e5 looks fine. Problem with Andreykin isn't his position. Problem is his clock. He's 20 seconds to 3.5 minutes. Very bad clock management to have 20 seconds and you have this complicated position. You're just sort of hoping. He's still getting his queen trapped, but he hasn't lost his queen. He's still hanging in there. And Salinas has a big time advantage now. Bortnik was spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to get the queen, and now he has a time problem. The queen's still trapped. This queen has nowhere to move. A7, terrible. Okay, so he found his square. Yeah, now he's fine. His queen's going to get out. So now the position's equal. So Bortnick used a lot of time to try to figure out how to get the queen, but he never did. And now white's fine, and white has more time. But the position's just equal. So it should be a draw. Mamedyarov is still slightly better. And has a nice time advantage also. Good game by Mamedyarov so far. Geary is completely winning. He's infiltrated on the queen side. The queen side pawns are just falling. And you'd have back rank checkmate problems also. So in this position, white's threatening knight takes e6. And then the bishop isn't defending the rook anymore. So black has to probably move his rook. But these pawns are all falling. And black doesn't have any play over here. It looks good, but he can't do anything. So it's all defended. The bishop on e6 is so bad. Lisa was right. So Geary's looking like he's winning. This game's a dead draw, and they did agree to a draw. Kamsky Kuzubov agreed to a draw. Black just moves back and forth, and white can't do anything. So good defense by Kuzubov. Bakro's thinking a lot, which is Andreykin's only hope, because Andreykin has 20 seconds on his clock. He has to get Bakro down to 20 seconds. Well, now it says white's winning. Wow, this game really turned around, the Salinas game, and Bortnick only has a few seconds left. Bortnick couldn't trap Salinas' queen, and eventually he had very little time on the clock and got in trouble. Yeah, this is all pinned and trapped. And the A-pawn's going to be lost. So very, very poor position for Bortnick now. This game completely turned around from what it was 10, 15 moves ago. Okay, and Sevian's catching up on time. Mamedyarov is trying to figure out how to increase his advantage, and he's taking a lot of time doing it. So he caught back up on the clock. This just looks like a draw with the symmetrical pawn structure. Probably Sevian will trade queens. And doesn't seem like the two bishops matter so much in this position with all the pawns in the same place. Trading queens makes sense because of his time disadvantage also. I think he wants to keep it less complicated. But he's thinking about it. Okay, Geary's wrapping it up. Took the b6 pawn. Can play b4 and just push his queenside pawns. Black doesn't have any play. Black's pieces are all trapped over here. I don't even know legally how the queen got here. How did the queen get to h5? How's that possible? What? I have to go back. I don't understand what happened here. How did the queen get to h5? Oh, he played queen f8, queen h6, queen h5? Is that what he did? Oh, it is what he did. All right. Yeah, that was bad. The queen's terrible on h5. And then he played h6, trapping his queen. So these pieces can never move. Ugh. This is like embarrassing. Okay, so he wants to play rook g8 and put pressure here. But knight takes e6 just wins now. Because the f pawn's pinned. And you can't play rook takes because the queen takes pawn check. So knight takes here just ends the game. Okay, he played here. He could resign now. Played this. Knight c7. Taking the rook wins. Everything wins.
Hey, Indo Queen, how's it going?
He's got two rooks, and they're both attacked. Geary only has 30 seconds left, but boy, is he winning. Man, 30 seconds is like 30 seconds too much.
Miss you too, Indo.
Nice game by Geary. He's looking good. And Bakro got checkmated. Wow, getting checkmated's bad. How do you get checkmated? B4 double question mark, losing immediately. Wow, he played F4. Wow. Now that's not good for your king. Man, that's, F4. Wow. And then knight takes, threatens knight D2 check. Wow, F4, what a terrible move. Bishop A6 check. Man, the truth hurts. Wow. He didn't see Bishop A6 check. That's why he played this way. Knight G1 instead of King F2. Hanging rook takes G1 mate. Man, this wasn't Bakro's game. Bakro was doing great, had more time. Then he hung all his pieces and got mated. Hung mate and won. I mean, it didn't matter. If he played King F2, he's losing his rook. Wow, the last 10 moves of that game, Bakro just totally fell apart. Once upon a time, Bakro was falling in love.
No news in Doe. I've been playing a lot of poker. Still getting some chess in. Salinas
won against Bortnik. Bortnik resigned here with black. Good idea. That was a big turnaround. Okay, they have about the same amount of time, and the position's pretty equal. This game's probably going to be a draw between Mamedyarov and Sevian. And let's see, Giri hasn't won yet because his opponent hasn't resigned. That's because Giri has 11 seconds left. This is the most winning position in chess history. Okay, he resigned here. Yeah, if you play King G7, then knight E8 check wins the queen. If you play Rook H6, knight takes F7 check wins everything. And if you play King G8, then you get mated in 2. So 3 good choices for black. He chose to resign. That was the best choice. Okay, so lots of decisive results in the losers bracket, with Kamsky's game with Kuzubov being a draw. And then this game is still going on with both sides having 35, 40 seconds left and the positions equal. Technically, White's better with his 2 bishops, but that's technical. Just completely equal pawn structure. And dark squared bishop's not very good on F2. On B2, I should say.
Happy 1-year anniversary, Indo. I haven't won anything lately of note, other than some little min caches online.
We stayed at Harrah's, Kansas City for our 1-year anniversary. Yeah. I had a funny experience in Kansas City. I went to Kansas City for bridge tournament, and we did great. We got 3rd place in the national, Flight C. Mm-hmm. And we got a free trip there, free hotel, free airfare, because we qualified to some big tournament. Anyway, I'm staying at the hotel. It's like a fancy hotel. It's big. It's like 1,000 rooms. And I go to the vending machine, and I put money in, and nothing happened. So I went to the front desk, and I said, hey, I just went to the vending machine and, put the money in and just took it. And she says, yeah, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, can I get a refund? And she says, you want your money back? And she takes change out of her pocket and throws it at me. And I was like, can I see the manager? And the manager comes, and I'm like, the machine took my money, and your employee took money and threw it at me like mad. And then the manager didn't care. He was like, I'll throw money at you too. She was furious that I wanted a refund for the money that the machine stole. My dad had a trick he used when he would put money in a vending machine and it would just steal it. When he'd go to ask, it didn't matter where he was. And they always say, we have nothing to do with the machine. The machine's owned by somebody else. And my dad said, oh, okay, I'm going to take the machine then. If it's not yours, I'm just going to take it. They'd always say, we have nothing to do with the machine. He's like, okay, I'll just take the machine then if you have nothing to do with it. They didn't want him to take the machine. He's like, well, you have nothing to do with it. Why can't I take the machine? Somehow, White won a pawn, and Black got a big red mark. Which pawn did White win? Which one of these pawns did white win? What?
Gordon Ramsay's restaurant? Is that Hell's Kitchen?
Whoa! Look at this. You watching?
Yeah.
He undefended his pawn with here. What? What kind of move is that?
You know,
What's
doesn't
going
have
on?
very much time left.
Yeah, but what? King there hanging the pawn with check. Then he didn't take it. All right. Well, he took it eventually. This is still a draw with correct play. Okay, white has chances now.
Hey, Kingpin. How's it going?
There's still a draw.
Oh, the steakhouse is a different restaurant. And you did Hell's Kitchen at the wedding. Nice. We ate at the one in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. That was another example of me giving somebody money and them helping us. So the first time we went to Hell's Kitchen in Vegas, I made a reservation. Then we sat down. The next time it was on the spur of the moment. We walked in, there was a huge line. And I said, there's two of us, and I gave her $20, and they just sat us right away. There was a line of like 20 people. But when I gave them money, they just sat us.
Yeah, the food's good there, Indo. I'm going to agree. Trying to remember what I got.
This is the game that doesn't end. This reminds me of the Braves game last night, which ended at 1 a.m. my time, which had an 8-7 final score against the Dodgers, with all kinds of home runs hit and grand slams and such, mainly and such.
Yeah, it's not vegan friendly, I'm going to agree. But Ben found something to eat.
No, Hell's Kitchen has like a vegan thing.
Oh, it
like,
did it?
Yeah, they have like a vegan.
I didn't remember
Yeah,
that.
they list things that are vegan.
I can't remember what I had. I just remember it was very good. You want to know why Baer gave up in his second game?
He got checkmated. Oh, in the second game? I don't even know what you're talking about. So let me hold on a second here. I forgot the second game's already started. Wow, Baer totally imploded. Whoa. Whoa. Wow, Baer just like lost on purpose. He was so upset about the first game. Jesus. He's losing after knight g5. There's no move here. You can't let him take this and mess up your pawns like that and then rook e1. Well, I mean, he lost on purpose. He played a5, a4. So he like just psychologically crushed from the first game. And he did it instantly. Yeah, he just didn't want to play the second game. Wow. That's not a good mentality there.
And then what, he just resigned?
He resigned here, yeah. I mean, but, okay. His resigning isn't weird. What's weird is he lost on purpose. He played a5, a4. He wasn't even trying. And in this position, bishop e6 is a nonsensical move. Like, your e-file's open, so you got to play like knight f6, bishop e7 castles. This doesn't help black castle. So he lost on purpose. Very strange. Yeah, he's very upset from the first game. It's not a good attitude. There's another explanation other than Baer's insane, and that is that he suspects Andreykin was cheating the last game, and he's like protesting. But I don't think so. I'm just making that up. So I don't know. That obviously wasn't the case. Like, Buckrow had more time and was winning. So Buckrow was just really upset because he was winning and had more time, and then he got crushed. So that was very strange. Okay, so this game was agreed drawn after 113 moves. The Sevian game with Mamajarov, they drew their first game. Okay, so Geary won the first game, and White's playing like a maniac this game because White has to win.
Buckrow, was he in which group? Losers or winners? Losers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the winners is only Sevian Mamajarov.
Right. So he's out.
Right. I've played this Rook G1 idea, but I played it after Bishop E7. So like after like E6, E3, Bishop E7, I've played Rook G1. That's my move. I've played it more than once. Yeah, he plays like me. That's probably not good playing Geary. But this is the point: is you play G4, G5. So he played H5, huh? Yeah, I like D4, trying to punish White for keeping his king on E1. When the guy attacks on the flank, you counterattack in the center. I don't like H5. That's not why you play Rook G1. You play G4 to play G5. So I don't like the way he's playing this. Okay, Kuzubov and Kamsky drew their first game. This is their second game. The engine doesn't like the opening they're playing for either side. And White's a little better. Black's very passive.
Oh, I get your joke now, Kingpin.
Okay, so nice position for Kuzubov. Kamsky has a nice time advantage. Kamsky's just playing solid and passive and hoping that Kuzubov overextends or loses on time.
I have to go upstairs. Apologize. I just realized it was so late.
Yeah. Hey, trying to learn.
I'll be back.
Go, Karen. But don't go. Please don't go.
I'll make 2 trips.
Yeah. All right, so what happened here? Kuzubov threatened checkmate with queen h7, g6, queen here, threatening the h-pawn. So Kamsky's slightly worse, but he has a lot more time on the clock. If Black ever plays c5, Kuzubov wants to play d5 or take this pawn. He's trying to stop c5. That's Black's main source of counterplay. So bishop e4 tries to prevent that. All right, we got tripled pawns. What else? Bortnik, Salinas. Salinas won the first game, and he was in a lot of trouble. So Bortnik needs to win this game with White. I don't know the move f4. I know the move knight e2 or bishop b3. f4 I don't know. e5, wow. Queen h4 check. Oh, wow. He could have played queen h4 check, Salinas, and if g3, I can take it. Wow. That's like Fox News. And if pawn takes, you lose your rook, and if bishop takes, you lose your queen. So what happens on knight f3? Knight f5 check. Yeah, Black's a pawn up. Wow, he could have played queen h4 check. Neither player saw that. Okay, so instead he played knight c5. White's in a must-win here, but White's not looking good for winning. Yeah, it says knight takes is equal. So he played here because he doesn't want to draw because he loses the match. Wow, it says knight f6 check is a good move. I don't know why. I don't understand why that's a good move. Why is this good for white? Queen g4. Oh, because I can play rook ff6 check. Like rook takes f6, threatening mate. Yeah, this is winning for white. Yeah, bishop e6, stopping rook h6, I have queen h5. Yeah, this is winning, I agree. Wow, knight f6 check is strong. Yeah, he should have taken with the queen. The engine really hates this game and says both players are playing badly. But white has a big advantage with knight f6 check now. Hard move to find. Probably the Sevian game started with Mamajarov. Or it didn't start. That's what I meant. Let me see. Maybe it started if I refresh. No, it still hasn't started. Oh, well. Shows you what I know. All right. So Theodora's in a must-win position against Geary. And the engine likes white now. It doesn't like black playing f5. Doesn't like taking on e3 either. It's difficult playing rapid game after game after game, day after day after day, and your opponent's pretty high rated. You start not to play well. It's too tiring. Because playing one game of chess is one game, but playing like 4 games a day and having lots of decisions to make. So Theodoro needs to win, and he does have an advantage with this nice knight on e4. Kuzubov-Kamsky, they drew their first game, and this position looks like slightly better for white, but I think Kamsky's avoided the worst of it, and Kamsky has a big time advantage. And he did play knight f6 check. His son is also Bortnik. Good for Bortnik. He needs to win this game to tie the match, and right now he has a good position. Sacrificing a piece for a mating attack. Black could also play king h8. Then white will play queen e4, queen f5, threatening mate. It's Karen. What's that?
Getting my food.
You are? I don't see nothing here.
It's on the stairs.
Oh, it's over there. All right, let's see if the Sevian game started yet. I wonder why they haven't started yet. They finished like 5 minutes ago. Wow, Bacro losing on purpose is weird. That's pretty distraught there. Trying to learn, gift to the sub. Hooray. Yeah, after king h8, queen e4 is the engine move, threatening mate. And then if you take, I do the same kind of attack against your king. These pieces aren't doing a good job defending the black king. So black's up a pawn, but black's pawn structure doesn't make a lot of sense. So the engine says it's equal. Kamsky's game with Kuzubov. They drew their first game. Kamsky has a 3-minute time advantage. And he has an extra pawn. He's Komsky. Yay, trying to learn shout out. Bakro trying to get the Nakamura Sportsmanship Award. That's correct. All right, so Komsky's game is he's slightly worse. He did play King H8. We can play Queen here, threatening mate. Or we could play Knight D7, threatening the rook. And if the rook moves, F-pawn is weak. And we're also threatening Rook H6 check. Yeah, if Knight D7 threatening the rook, we're also threatening Rook takes H6 check, winning the queen. So he might play Knight D7, he might play Queen E4, he might play Queen F5. See if Sevian's playing. Yep, they just put the game up. Okay, this is Sevian White against Mamajarov. They drew their first game in 113 moves. So whoever wins this game wins the winner's final. Will it be a Sveshnikov or will he take? Let's see which one it is. Can either take this or play Knight B5. Let's see which theoretical line he wants to go into. He doesn't even know yet. If he takes, B takes, E5. Okay, so he's going to do this. B takes, E5, Knight D5, Knight E4. And then, what do they play here? I forgot what they play here. Queen B6? Oh, Queen C7. Rook B8. I don't know Rook B8. Usually White plays C4 pretty soon. So it says question mark, but this is Mamajarov's preparation. All right, let's look at the Geary game. Theodoro needs to win. Oh, C4 was a good move. Threatening Queen takes D3 check and Bishop takes A3. Knight G5 threatening the Bishop and threatening Bishop D5 check. Very sharp position. White's down a piece, but White has a big attack against Black's king, and White has an attack against the H3 bishop. So Bishop D5 check is coming. The piece is weak on H3. Knight takes H3 is the threat. Bishop is out of play on A3. Very sharp position. Kuzubov-Kamsky is about equal. White won his pawn back, but Kamsky still has that big time advantage. This game was drawn the first game. So if they draw this game, they'll go to Armageddon. Now the engine prefers black. It doesn't like bishop takes E8. That bishop was better than this bishop. Probably White should have just kept his bishop. This looks pretty equal. Queen, 2 rooks, and 4 pawns each. But Kamsky does have a lot more time on the clock. Kuzubov definitely playing for a draw, because in the end game, king and pawn ending, this just wins. A4, B3, queens. Okay, Bortnik has to win. He lost the first game. He played queen F5, G6, queen back to F4, pawn went back to G7. Wait, no, he can't do that. Queen C5 check. G5, that just hangs mate. Queen here, and then this is mate. G5 is just, I mean, he's losing anyway, but that was just a blunder. Wow, so Salinas had a fine position the whole game, and then just went downhill and lost. And that was the reverse of the first game, where Bortnik was doing well, then just went downhill and lost. So they're going to have this game's over. Black resigned. So they're going to have an Armageddon game Salinas and Bortnik. The losers out of the tournament. Terrible play by Salinas the last 10 moves. All right, let's see what happened here. Rook b8, a3. Once again, Mamedyarov has a big time advantage. Mamedyarov must know this position because he's played instantly every move. He still has his 15 minutes left. Whereas Sam's been thinking a long time. It's hard not to play queen h5 check and have the king go to d8. Looks good for white. All right, let's see how the Geary game is going. He played e4, engine approved. Bishop e4, bishop f5. And Theodore is thinking. The engine wants him to play bishop d5 check. And then h6 and start attacking. So Geary's up a piece, but the position's pretty complicated. Both sides have about 5 minutes left. Theodoro needs to win this game because Geary won the first game. Trying to learn, gifted a sub. All right, they traded everything in the Kamsky game. Black played queen d6. I guess if he takes on d4, we play queen e7 check, and this pawn's going to fall. This just looks like a draw, although Kuzubov only has 46 seconds, so it's better to have black here. Black's more likely to make a queen. But his king is so exposed, it should just be a draw. Sevian did play queen h5 check, and then queen back to f3, defending his pawn on f4. And the engine likes black. So remember, play king d8 in the opening, and you'll have a better position. You got that, kids? Good preparation by Mamedyarov, knowing that this queen h5 check wasn't dangerous. Okay, Theodorou played h6, putting it in h. Complicated position. Good winning chances for both sides. g6, bishop d5 check, e4. Now the engine thinks this is equal. Bishop doesn't have a lot of squares. The engine wants to put the queen on this diagonal, so queen c7 or queen d6 to play queen f4 check and get at this king. Also, if you play queen d6, for example, and he stops queen f4 check, our bishop can go back because our bishop's trapped right now. Very fascinating game. Kamsky's thinking a long time here, letting Kuzubov catch up on the clock. There should be an Armageddon game starting soon. Let me see if they started yet. Nope. So Bortnik and Salinas are going to play an Armageddon game. I guess they have to bid on time, so that's going to take a while. Okay, so Geary didn't do that. He played bishop g4. Rook f1 was played. White wants to trade on f-file and get his queen, somehow get near the king. Obviously, queen f6 would be winning. This says Geary has to play knight e5, otherwise he's lost. It says knight e5 is equal, and every other move loses. Looking at the engine lines, it looks like white's going to win this game because black's moves are not obvious. Komsky's trying to get a pass pawn here. But okay, after queen h7 check, king doesn't really have anywhere to hide. He's going to have to try to come over here. Seems far-fetched. But he'll try. Both sides have seconds left. Sevian's thinking a long time. Huge time advantage for Mamedyarov. Mamedyarov played queen a5 check, which is not a good move. And then queen b6. That's strange, letting white develop his bishop for free. Okay, his king did run all the way over here. The engine still says it's a draw. Yeah, just keep checking. King and pawn ending is a draw also. Okay, drawn by reputation. So they're going to have an Armageddon game also. Kuzubov and Komsky. Theodoru has to win this game to get to an Armageddon. Theodoru, I think, is going to win. I think Black's king is too stuck, and White has this nice center structure. And 4 minutes to 1. I think Geary's going down. Then they'll have an Armageddon. The only non-Armageddon is Bakro like losing on purpose after losing game 1 to Andreikin. So Bakro's out of the tournament and Andreikin's on to the next losers match. Yeah, he blundered with knight d8. And after queen g1, we're threatening queen d4, winning immediately. Geary's just going to lose. If you play bishop c5, I play rook takes rook. And then here. Yeah, everything wins now. Knight takes wins easily because I have queen d4 check next move. Wow, Theodoru won on demand against Geary. That's pretty good. All he has to do is play knight takes knight, and he's threatening queen d4 check. And king is just no good here in the corner. Let's go to the Sevian game. Rook d1 double question mark. That move just seems nonsensical. Why is he letting him take this? That was a weird move. Could just play b4. Very strange move from Sevian. Theodore is still thinking about his options. And it looks like Mamedyarov did take on b2. Bishop a5 check. It says king e7 is good, but he played rook b6, which is also good. Yeah, White's position doesn't make a lot of sense. This a pawn's going to fall, and the king is exposed. The c pawn's hanging. Black has this beautiful knight here. So good exchange sack from Mamedyarov. Queen d4 check. Queen takes rook also wins. Now knight c5 check wins. Knight d8 check wins. Played knight c5. Queen h8 check wins. Knight takes queen wins. Looks good for Theodoru. Okay, he did take the queen. I could play queen h8 check, take on h7 with check. This is just Geary not resigning. Sevian played c4, which is explosive. Wants to play c5 and take the knight. Black has to play bishop takes a3 with the idea of bishop b4 check. And then black is winning, or close to winning. Yep, and he played it. Brilliant game by Mamedyarov. Now this white king is going to get in trouble. If you ever take the rook and I take back, then bishop b4 check is going to be winning. Yeah, the engine just wants to play e takes d5, because then the rook can come to e8. And white's king is in a lot of trouble here. Black's going to have 4 or 5 pawns for a rook or a piece. And white's king is very exposed. Bishop b4 check, rook e8 check. Brilliant game. E takes d5 is winning. Bishop b4 check is equal. But yeah, it's hard to play e takes d5 and leave your rook hanging when you can get rid of the bishop. But Mamedyarov did. 4 passed pawns for Mamedyarov. What else? And the 2 bishops, which white also has. Yeah, rook e8's coming. Bishop b4's coming. Take the knight is coming. Tough position for white. Very hard for Sevian to play here. All right, he still didn't resign. Okay, then Geary resigned. So Theodora wins on demand, and he's going to play on Armageddon with Geary. Probably some of the Armageddon started when we check. Yep, here's an Armageddon between Salinas and Bortnik. Wow, looks like Salinas won the bidding war and decided to have white and have to win. He didn't take black and draw odds. That's unusual. This looks familiar. Okay, bishop a3 he didn't play before. Very similar to the other game. Yeah, here it says after knight e4, white is slightly better. It doesn't like the move knight f3. Now it wants black to sack on f2, and it thinks black has the advantage. Very similar to a game between Bob Avery and Svetozar Gligorich from Lone Pine in the 70s, where Gligorich won one of the best games of the informant by sacking on f2 and e3. Similar structure. But he played knight e5, which the engine doesn't like, because it wants to sack on f2. Bust open white's position. Black has draw odds, so usually sacrificing material isn't what's called for when you have draw odds. All right, let's see how Sam's holding up here. Knight c3 question mark. And then rook e8 check is winning. Bishop b4 is winning. Yeah, after rook e8 check, if you put something on e2, I could play bishop a6. And I've just got everything attacking you. It's a brilliant game from Armageddon so far. Let's see if there's any other Armageddons happening. That's the only one. Bishop b4 was played. Wanted queen takes more than rook takes, but I understand wanting the queen here for rook e8 check and bishop a6. So after knight e5, he played b6. Takes. Rook a6 question mark. Now it says rook c7 is winning for Salinas. Yeah, that makes rook a6 make no sense. Players are just exhausted. It's tough playing so many games in one day and calculating so much and being in time trouble all the time. So they're just not playing their best. Engines don't have this issue. He did play rook c7, bishop e5, and then he played the brilliant exchange sacrifice, rook fc1. Yeah, the pawn on c7 is too strong. And also white will have the dark squares, so black's king will get in trouble if he plays bishop takes rook. Yeah, this position's excellent for white. Let's see if Sevian's still hanging on. Rook b3 is the right move. Rook e8's a good move. Yeah, he's just in a lot of trouble here. Bishop a6 is coming. Queen a3 is coming. There's too much pressure on white's position. And black has the 4-pass pawns also. As per usual, Mamedyarov has a sizable time advantage. 3 minutes extra on the clock. This is a fascinating game from Mamedyarov, like so many sacrifices, and they're all correct. Very aggressive play by black. It's good his king was on d8, so he could play rook e8. Rook takes c3 is winning, and bishop a6 is winning. I think he'll play bishop a6. He has to calculate rook b1, but he can just take the rook, take the knight, and take everything, basically. Okay, so he played queen h4, threatening queen h2, then g3. That didn't seem to help black any. Bortnik's in trouble against Salinas. All right, let's see if there's any of the Armageddon games starting other than the ones we're looking at. Yeah, we have Kamsky-Kuzubov. And the other game hasn't started yet between Giri and Theodoru. They haven't started their Armageddon yet. Looks like we have Petrov. What? Kamsky didn't play the Stafford Gambit? I'm shocked. Oh, Kuzubov, I mean. So Kuzubov won the bidding war and decided to have black. So he's playing the Petrov and he has draw odds. I used to play this line with black. Bishop, the way black's playing here. And then c6. They used to play knight c3 or queen c2. I don't know what they play now. It's 30 years ago. Yeah, rook e1 I've seen also. Okay, so Kamsky needs to win, and Kuzubov draws or wins, and he's in the next round. Okay, in this game, Geary lost. Played queen f6. Queen b5. Rook a8. Not just good for white. This rook a6, rook a8 didn't work out very well for Bortnik. Queen takes d5 question mark. Looks good. Knight's hanging, b7's hanging. Puts pressure on f7. Looks like a good move. Engine says black has to play rook a d8, otherwise he's losing. So Mamedyarov did play bishop a6. So white's either going to play rook b1 or knight d1. But they're both losing. Man, look at black's active pieces. And his king on d8 is perfect. Getting out of the way of the rook on e8. Yeah, now queen takes e2 is double exclam. Queen takes b1 also wins, but queen takes e2 wins everything. That's a hard move to see, queen takes e2. But he's Mamedyarov, so I'll predict that he plays it. Yep, and he played it. Yeah, just an amazing game from Mamedyarov. The knight's protecting the rook, and if the knight takes the queen, black actually wins all of white's pieces. If we play knight takes, we check, we take this, and then we pin the knight, and then black has 2 rooks and 3 pawns for queen, so 4 passed pawns. So very easy win for black. That's the main variation. Okay, and that's actually happening. Okay, this all happened. Yeah, this is resignable already. He won't resign. He'll try to check with his queen a few times, but it's hopeless. Also, he has 3-minute time disadvantage. So it looks like Mamedyarov is going to win the winner's bracket, and Sevian will play in the loser's bracket tomorrow. Tomorrow on the coverage we're doing, there's only the loser's bracket. There is no winner's bracket. The winner of this game plays in the final, on the grand final on Sunday. An incredible game by Mamedyarov. After rook a2, the queen's not very good here. Or rook b7. Yeah, now this pawn can start coming. Or this pawn. Or this pawn. It's a great game from Mamedyarov. All right, what happened here? We have a lot of colors, so a lot of mistakes were made. Rook d8 is correct. Knight takes f5 is okay. Rook takes d5 is okay. Knight h6 check is a blunder. Now black's winning. King h8's a blunder. Now white's winning. Should play king g7. He didn't want to allow rook takes f7 check, but he should have. Now knight f7's winning. And now he can take on e4. And he's just got too much attack. Now, black needs a draw here, so white can't play this perpetual, because then black wins the match. So if white wants to win, white has to play bishop takes e4. Fascinating game. Kamsky Kuzubov, they played this Petrov. Black has draw odds. Yeah, this game followed the opening from a game that Nepo won in the candidates. I forgot who his opponent was, but Nepo won pretty easily with black. You can take either way on d5. The engine prefers pawn takes, but queen takes is okay. All right, let's see what's happening here. He did play bishop takes, rook d2, threatening mate. Check is correct. Knight g4 is correct. I played knight g4, stopping this. The engine actually likes white here, even though white's down a queen. White has two pieces, plus a lot of pawns, plus this pawn's hanging. Yeah, now wants to play knight takes, queen takes, bishop b4, threatening the rook, and bishop c3. Wow, he played pretty quickly. After bishop b4, he's winning. He played bishop b7. Yeah, bishop b4 threatens the rook and threatens bishop c3, winning the queen. Then the engine says white's winning. Now it says it's about equal. He missed his chance with bishop b4. It's an excellent move, threatening queen f2 and queen takes b6. Well, white has to win this game, and he's not going to win now, unless black blunders. And black has a lot more time. So it's looking good for Bortnik. The fortunes change. Well, white just blundered, it says. Rook f1. Rook f7, double question mark. King g8 just wins the game. The game is over. Yeah, he had to play rook back to c1, but he can't repeat. But after king g8, the rook has trapped on the 7th rank. The rook has to go back, and then the bishop's hanging. So after king g8, white has to resign. If Bortnik fight... Oh, he didn't fight king g8. Still winning, but he took a pawn instead. But after king g8, the rook is defending the bishop, and it can't keep defending the bishop. There's no square here that's safe. So king g8 is pretty easy winning move. Bishop e7, tricky. The best move is rook d2. Queen e6 is the second best move. Yeah, now black's winning again. Rook e7 is the easiest way to win. Get rid of this rook. Otherwise, rook h7, bishop c5 check. Bishop on the white square can get somewhere good. Yeah, rook e7 was an excellent move. Yeah, it's a queen for two bishops, plus black has this passed pawn. So this is just winning for black. It's going to take a huge blunder for Salinas to come back now. A huge blunder that won't happen. All right, let's see what's happening in Kamsky and Kuzubov. Which way did he take on d5? He took with the pawn. So far, Kuzubov's playing a perfect game. He's completely equalized the position, and he needs a draw to win the match. So far, so good for Kuzubov. Okay, Sevian hasn't resigned. Let's go back. The last position we saw was this. And this is, okay, just not resigning. Once he runs out of checks, he has to resign because this is going to queen. Yeah, he ran out of checks. Man, the truth hurts. King g5, and that's it. There's no more checks. 0 checks after king g5. Yep, now he'll resign. Look for a stalemate, but the king has all these squares. So there's no stalemate. Okay, not sure why he didn't resign. That was weird. This is actually forced mate if we check here and keep checking with the rooks, but okay, he'll just queen. It's weird not resigning. You're down 2 rooks and 3 pawns. Very strange not resigning. Okay, he resigned here. Good choice. Wow, really, really nice game from Mamedyarov. I mean, beautiful game. That was the game of the tournament. Black made lots of sacrifices, and they were all good. He won with black. So Mamedyarov wins the winner's section. He'll play Sunday against the winner of the loser section. And the person who wins the loser section has to beat Mamedyarov twice to win the tournament. All right, let's see what happened here. Black sacrificed the exchange. Always sack the exchange. And White resigned. White has to win because it's draw odds, but he's not going to win here. He's just losing. So Bortnik wins the match against Salinas. Bortnik goes on in the losers bracket. The other game should have started by now, unless I'm imagining. No, I'm not imagining. Okay, this is Armageddon game. Geary won the bid, so he took black. Let me see if it tells you what they bid. Let's see if it says. No, they didn't tell me. So Geary won the bidding war, and he has draw odds. Pretty symmetrical. Not anymore. White has to win. It's an Armageddon game. White has a slight advantage. Wow, that move is something. Wants to put his knight on d4. Couldn't play bishop takes a5 because knight e2 check was a threat winning the queen. That doesn't look right. Yeah, this is just better for black now, and black has draw odds too. Just a second here. King h2. Okay, that's the difference. I thought black could claim a draw, but he couldn't. Yeah, he got c5 in. Now he has chances for make it an interesting game. Yeah, e4 was the right move. Knight's coming in here. So the engine says it's equal, but Geary has 5 minutes less on the clock because he had to bid to get less time. So, but the engine says this is equal. White's up a pawn, but look at black's ensconced in white's position here. Terrible position for white, but he's up a pawn, so it says it's equal. Let's see what's going on in the Kamsky game. Kuzubov playing great. Yeah, white's up a pawn, but with his king like this, he's not better. He's got two isolated pawns here. And this king is terrible on g1. It's just completely open on both ranks. And white's extra pawn doesn't really help. So this is still just equal. Kamsky needs to win. It's an Armageddon game. And here, Theodoro needs to win. Also Armageddon. Andrakin and Bortnik are on to the next round. They won their matches. Bortnik won in Armageddon. Andrakin won a very strange match where Bacro lost the first game and then lost the second game on purpose. Very strange. The game ended in like 6 moves or 7 moves. And he played A5, A4 on the first 2 moves. That's very weird. Okay, so Geary's equalized. He's still down 5 minutes on the clock. But his position's fine. Kuzubov's playing an amazing game. Has the black pieces, and he's really playing well. Putting pressure on White's king here. Time situation is close. Kuzubov needs a draw to win the match. Okay, so Theodoru played knight takes d4. Now he can play rook takes b3 because the queen's overworked. And he did. And White has just no winning chances here. White's king is worse off than Black's, and White has this isolated pawn here. Black's threatening to take this, and this is weak. Yeah, the engine wants to play queen f6 check and go into a pawn down endgame. Yeah, if you move your queen, then rook doubles on the 6th rank, threatening this. So this looks like Geary's going to pull through. He just needs a draw to win the match. And he has the better position. This looks good for Kuzubov. Kuzubov needs a draw to win the match. I mean, if queen f6 is the best move, he can't play it. He has to win. He can't win the pawn down double rook ending. So he has to let Black play rook c3, and it's not going to be good. He has to trade queens, otherwise he's losing. But if he they just agreed to a draw. Yeah, because White has to go here and get into a worse double rook ending. So Geary wins the match against Theodoru, Bortnik wins his match, and Andrakin wins his match. And the last match in this round is Kamsky versus Kuzubov. And Black has draw odds. Time is about the same. White has to win. I'm not sure if there's more games today. If the losers keep playing or they're done. I'm not sure. Mamajarov's done. Okay, that I know. This is either the last game of the day or the losers play another round. I'm not sure. One more round of losers. Yeah, we can go over here, look at the results. Mamajarov Sevian, Mamajarov won. Mamajarov plays the grand final on Sunday. So Min Lee is going to play Andrakin. Or wait a minute. Bortnik is going to play Andrakin. And then Geary is going to play the winner of Kamsky Kuzubov. Then the winner of those matches plays Min Lee and Bach. And the winner of those matches plays each other. And the winner of that match plays Sevian. Very complicated. So Andrakin's going to play Bortnik in the next match. And Geary's going to play the winner of Kamsky Kuzubov. So those are the 2 matches we're going to be following after this. Now, this is just equal. White's king is too exposed to have winning chances. White can never play queen takes a6 because his rook is hanging. Now, the rook and pawn ending is a draw, but the engine doesn't like that move. Yeah, these pawns are weak. So in their pawn ending, black can just win one of the pawns. Look, Kamsky needs to win, so he's going to keep trying. Rook e4 is a good move to play rook e2 check. If the black's a move, black's winning. So white has to play either rook d5 or rook d2. Queen takes probably loses to queen f6 check, I would assume. Yeah. So he'll play rook e1. Oh, I thought he played rook e1 threatening two different checkmates. I'm surprised. Queen e6 is fine. Now he'll probably play queen f5. Yep. Now he wants to check here. Or play rook e3. Both draw. So queen f5 is the only drawing move. Oh, that's a blunder. Rook e1 check blunder. Now Kamsky's winning. That's an elementary blunder. I think he didn't see king f2. I think he saw king g2. Wow, that's a terrible blunder. Now he's threatening queen f6 check and king takes rook. Rook e1 checks double question mark. That's just a ridiculous move. He has to play queen f5 here, stopping queen f6 check. Then he's threatening rook e3. But queen h5 check wasn't a good move. Rook e3 was the move. Wow, what a terrible move, rook e1. King f2 resigns. That move just makes no sense. The rook's hanging and queen f6 is mate. So that's the worst move ever. Yeah, queen f6 is just mate. He decided queen c8 check was actually mate, but this is winning. Oh, so Kamsky's going to win. Kuzubov blundered right near the end as soon as he was drawing. Actually, Kamsky might not win because there's no increment. Okay, good move. Now he'll win. There's no increment, so Kamsky has to mate in 8 seconds. I forgot there was no increment. Yeah, Kamsky's technique was pretty good. Wow, what a blunder by Kuzubov. Rook e1 check. Just went from drawn to losing in one move. Very elementary blunder. King f2 resigns. I'll show you the checkmate that Kamsky didn't play, but okay, it didn't matter. Yeah, in this position, white has forced mate with queen c8. This is the only legal move. g4. King h6 allows queen h8 mate. Queen d8 check. King takes pawn allows queen check and queen here mate. So king h3. Rook d3 check, etc. And then, okay, king h2, queen h4 mate, and the engine plays like this to avoid the mate as long as possible. But okay, nobody's going to do that in this time control. You just take the queen and you just win this endgame. Yeah, in this position, Kuzubov also blundered. He should just move his king, because Kamsky only has 12 seconds left. So by playing this, he allows him to queen and win the game immediately. He needed to last a little bit longer. Wow, crazy finish. Okay, so the final 2 matches in the losers today, then there'll be more losers matches tomorrow, is Kamsky versus Geary and Andreykin versus Bortnik. The winner of Andreykin and Bortnik plays Min Lee tomorrow. The winner of Kamsky and Geary plays Benjamin Bach tomorrow. Complicated. Come on. And, okay, the other loser's game isn't happening yet because Kamsky just won. So Kamsky's going to play Geary, and Bortnik is going to play Andreykin, and they're playing now. Those are the only 2 matches left. Mamedyarov won the winner's bracket. He'll play Sunday against the winner of the loser's bracket. And tomorrow there's going to be loser's bracket matches. Benjamin Bach and Min Lee and Sevian are still in the loser's bracket. This is Bortnik on Draken. 4 knights. What else? So this is Bortnik versus Andraken. And the other game we're going to look at is Geary versus Komsky. But I'm not sure who has white, Geary or Komsky. They haven't started yet. I don't know what the prizes are, Bonarici, but that's a good question. Oh, well, hey, I know Chief knows what's going on. Go Chi. This is the only game going on right now, and soon we'll be joined by the Geary Komsky game. They'll probably give Komsky a few minutes because his game just ended. And the engine doesn't like knight takes e5 for white. It says black can play d5 and rook e8 and open up the center. But it's very sharp. Went from a boring 4 knights to a sharp 4 knights. What happened today in Carlson versus Faruja in Division 1? Does anybody know? I wouldn't call it a poison pawn. Well, he's out of his prep. He's already used over 2 minutes. Where's Karen? She's up in her poker class. She'll be back in about half an hour. They aren't playing yet? Carlson and Faruja didn't play yet? Why not? Oh, all right. Truth hurts. The engine doesn't like rook e8 so much. Now it wants white to play knight g4. Still thinks black is better. Yeah, Division 1's pretty strong. I don't know who's in Division 2, but I know Nepo's in it. And Fedoseev. They're in Division 2. I don't know who else is in Division 2. Division 2 is pretty strong, too. All the divisions are strong. I was talking to Rush about the sections, and they said, sections? Don't you mean subdivisions? Knight takes e4 is the best move. God damn. Hope he plays knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Mainly, etc. is correct. Division 1 separates the winners and losers from playing. Do you think Fedoseev can improve his game more? Sure. If Andreykin plays knight takes e4, he should type, and you will know my name is the Lord. Even though it doesn't win, it just gives black a slight advantage. All winners in my book. Yeah. Pretty strong online tournament. Yay, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4 was forced. That was the only move it said. Yeah, this is actually the right line. Then he can play either knight e3 or castles. This bishop's not very good. After castles, the engine sacks the exchange. Rook takes e4 and says black is slightly better. Queen f4 is also possible. I don't think he'll sack the exchange. I think he'll just move his queen. Queen g6 or queen f4. The idea of queen f4 is if you take the bishop, I have knight e2 check, and you have all these pieces hanging. Well, I guess the knight defends the bishop, so just the bishop. He did sack the exchange. Always sack the exchange. Good. Andreykin sacrifices every move. Now knight e3 is the only move. h3 is a mistake, it says, because of h5. So it doesn't like that, because then the h-pawn is going to be hanging. So black's down the exchange with his bishop is terrible, and black's pieces are all really active. Also, always sack the exchange. Let's see if Kamsky-Giri is happening yet. It is. Yay. Giri's white against Kamsky. Plays c3. Bishop d2, that's unusual. Okay, this is game one of the loser's bracket match. The winner of this match, I think, plays Benjamin Bach tomorrow. I think it's Bach. And the winner of the other match plays Min Lee. The engine says put it in H. See, played knight e3, de, king h1, putting it in h. h5 is a move. f5 looks like a move to me. Just developing the bishop. a5 is a move, trying to trap the bishop on b3. h5 seems sort of standard. Get the attack going against the white king. This is Giri Kamsky. This is game one of their match. So these are the last two games of the day. Or I'm sorry, these are the last two matches of the day. This is game one of each match. Game two right after. And then Armageddon if necessary. This is Giri versus Kamsky. Giri's white. Yeah, and also Fedoseev changed his federation. I think he plays for Slovenia now. Kamsky slightly worse with black. Typical Kamsky. Andreykin sacking material and playing slowly. But playing well. Black has a nice position here. Two bishops and the what else? Okay, they traded on c3. Kamsky's knight's heading for d5. So Kamsky's going to play knight c7, knight d5, bishop e7, castles, GG. Draw agreed. And Giri can play for an attack, h4, rook h3, h5, etc. He says, no, you can't put your knight on d5. d5. And Kamsky says, let's trade more pieces. Yeah, bishop b4 is good. Okay, Andreykin never moves. At least there's some moves in this game. Yeah, this looks like Kamsky solved his opening problems. If he ever had any problems. This looks fine for black. Yeah, if white ever plays d6, black's going to castle and play f6 and just destroy the center. Big think by Geary. How do you break out of the 2000 plateau? 2100 would do it. Also, you could buy my Chessable course. That's equally as good. Huge thing for Andreykin here. He's been thinking for 4 minutes. Geary's been thinking for 2 minutes. Now he has less time than Gatto. 1900 would do it too. Is c3 a move here? Let's see what happened here. Black played knight e6. That surprises me. Bishop b3. Yeah, c3 is legal. That's for sure. Knight e6 is a strange move. Knight was good on d4. But okay, it's good on f4 too. Geary's having a huge think here. Will he play bishop d4? Will he play d6? Will he put it in h? Rook c1. Queen d3. Queen d4. Lots of moves to consider. Queen a4. The engine wants to put it in h. h4. The engine always wants to play h4. How do you improve? Take 4 years off. Wait, there was a move on the other game. I heard it. G3, engine approved. So in this position, black was threatening. Bishop takes e3 and queen g2 mate. So g3 was more or less forced. The engine doesn't like knight h3, which seems like the obvious move. Now white can play the not so obvious f4, and white has the advantage. Not sure he'll play that, because that's hard to play. He took on e6, which surprises me. And then he can't play de, because queen a4 check wins the knight, so he has to play fe. Gives black a nice open file for his rook when he castles. Yeah, this is no problem for Gatto. Gatto has d5 square for his knight. He's got the open f file. Yeah, Geary didn't find a way to an advantage here. If anything, Geary's worse. Very good play by Gatto. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, knight has a nice d5 square. Yeah, black's position is very harmonious. Knight d5, castles, Papa John's. Now, he did play f4. Man, these guys are good. His son is also Bortnik. Yeah, the problem with taking is you're opening up this f file. So you're going to get crushed on the f file. So he played queen e7. Queen e2. And the knight's just trapped on h3. So yeah, white's just better here now. Yeah, this knight here, knight here, knight here wasn't good. And Andreykin has very little time left also. a3, bishop e7. It's hard to find a plan for white. Black's just knight d5 in castles, and he has the nice knight here, and he has the open f-file. And he'll play rook c8 probably. But I don't know what white's going to do. Which we'll find out. White's probably going to play g3, king g2, queen d3, but knight's sort of weak on f3 once you play g3. But you don't want your king on f1 the whole game. You want to connect your rooks. Put it in h. Engine doesn't like it. It usually likes h4. When you play it, then it doesn't like it. All right, so Andreykin's in trouble. He's 6 minutes behind on the clock, and he's worse. He was fine before, but he played this incorrect plan with knight h3. Now we can play c3, or we can play a4. I'm guessing a4. And black could play b6 and try to play bishop g2, or a6. g2? I was thinking queen g2 in response, so I got confused. Yeah, very poor play from Andreykin in this game. Yeah, knight's just trouble. Yeah, white can play bishop c4, bishop e2. You can't play bishop f3 check because I take it and your queen isn't defended. And once I get bishop e2 in, then he stops bishop f3 forever. So he'll probably do that. Doesn't want to allow this at any point. Okay, let's see. Castles, g3. Queen c8 wants to go here. Queen e8 was also possible to get the queen out this way. Yeah, it really hates king g2. Wants to play king g1, knight e1. Jesus. Yeah, it really hates Geary's position here. Yeah, rook f5, rook a f8. Okay, rook f7 is the same. Yeah, this is just a pitiful position for white. Yakomsky just completely outplaying Geary. What is this, 1995? Then he'd really outplay Geary. Man. Geary would be like, I'm not alive yet. Why am I getting outplayed? God, this is a terrible position for Geary. Really nice play from Gata. Queen on the diagonal, doubling rooks. Knight d5 coming. Very tough position for white. Bishop on d4 is no good. Blocked by this pawn. Wow, bishop takes h4. What? This is the engine move, bishop h4. I don't understand it. Let me figure out why this is good. Queen e4. Wow. Threatening queen g4 check. Yeah. And then the knight's coming to d5, and we got everything. Yeah. He won't play that, but that's a good computer move. Bishop takes h4. He'll probably play queen e4. Now let's see what's going on here. Ah, he didn't play bishop c4 to e2. I'm surprised. Ah, he's going to play bishop d1. All right. Well, Black is still fighting, but he's down a lot of time on the clock, and his position's not very good. But he's fighting. He's fighting for a sandwich. Kamsky played h6. Put it in h. He wants to play g5. Rawr. g5, g4, Papa John's. So far, so good for Kamsky and good for Bortnik. He puts the rook on the open file. Can play rook c3 later if he needs to. White didn't move yet. The engine wants to play rook e2, because if you take the rook, then you're going to lose your knight later. Also, bishop takes g4, which I think is more likely. I think he'll play bishop g4, then he'll play rook e2. Problem with bishop g4 hg is the knight's defended then. So maybe he will play rook e2. I don't know. It's a hard move to find. No, he just took. Now he has to play rook to e2 to defend his b-pawn. So is Black going to pay for his knight being trapped here on h3? The answer is fries. Kamsky plays knight d5. Engine doesn't like that. Then king g1, because he stopped attacking this. So last two inaccurate moves from Kamsky, and now Geary's actually okay here. I'd still take Black, but the engine says White's fine. He let him get out of this pin. Kamsky sacrifices a pawn. Not sure why. I guess he can take this if he has to. Maybe. Maybe he can't. Very poor play from Kamsky after he got a winning position. h6, knight d5, bishop c5, all bad moves. Now White's slightly better. All right, what's going on here? Played queen e2, which is a mistake. F5. I don't know why he wants his queen tied down to his pawn. Doesn't make any sense. And now the engine says it should be a draw. Although obviously White has 5 minutes to 1, so better for Bortnik. Andrekin's really good in time trouble. This isn't Armageddon, so there is increment. In the Armageddon, I always forget there's no increment. If only Black's knight was on f3 or d3, he'd be winning. Well, Bortnik threw all his advantage away, but he does have a big time advantage. Let's see. Kamsky threw all his advantage away. White has to play rook c3 or he's losing, but he did play it. So White's up a pawn, but Black still has this nice doubled F file and his nice queen. It's also hard for White to make use of his extra pawn. Since black just blundered. Queen b1 question mark. Queen d4 winning. Threatening mate. Yeah, that just wins. The game's over. What should he have played? Oh, queen c4. Then after queen d4, you can take it. Yeah, now queen d4 just mates. So he just made a one-move blunder. Queen b1 just double question mark. Queen here resigns. He had to play queen c4, then Engine said it was equal. Rook e5, hoping for queen takes rook, queen g1 mate. Rook takes g7 is forced mate, then queen takes rook check and so forth. And pawn takes also wins. He'll probably play pawn takes. Although he might play this. That's not hard to calculate. Could play it. Yeah, he did play it. So Bortnick's going to win his game against Andreykin after this terrible queen b1 blunder, missing queen d4. So Andreykin's going to have to win the next game or he's out of the tournament after he loses this game. This is forced mate and this is forced mate. King e8 hangs mate in 1. And the queen and rook just mate the king. Black resigned. Okay, so Bortnick wins the first game. Andreykin has to win the second game or he's out of the tournament. And, wow, Geary was really nice. He didn't move after... Oh, they agreed to a draw. Kamsky offered a draw with queen e4, and it was accepted. All right, so this game is over, too. So Kamsky and Geary drew, and Bortnick won his game. They're already playing the second game. Wow. Both second games are already going. Okay, Kamsky has white. The first game was a draw. Geary sort of escaped there. He was in trouble before. This looks like got his game with Kramnik from yesterday. And Andreykin has to win with white. And it's a Philidor by transposition. Will he play g4? G4, g4. Do it. Ah, you baby. Bishop c4. Playing a solid good move instead of g4. g4 is also good. Recommended by Shirov. I made a video on the Philidor several part series for chess.com about 3 years ago. Talked about g4 a lot. Okay, so if black draws or wins, he wins the match, and Andreykin's out. If Andreykin wins, they go to a Armageddon game. And this game, there was a draw the first game, so whoever wins the match. If they draw, it's Armageddon. To London. Man, they started the second game pretty quickly. They didn't take a break. What is Armageddon exactly? It's a film that was made about 20 years ago. Made a lot of money. Armageddon is where they bid on how much time they have. And the person who bids lowest gets to pick the color they have. It starts with that time. And black has draw odds. Sometimes they pick white. The engine likes white's position. It's like a reverse Slav. Threatening the bishop and the knight. Oh, give me the knight. Uh-huh. 2 knight. Nice position for Komsky out of the opening. And white has the 2 bishops and the Vatals. All right, what do we got here? Okay, black playing slow and solid, hoping that white overpresses. And white needs to win this game since he lost the first game. Bortnick's up 1-0. So Andreykin has to win to force Armageddon. Happened here. Takes castles, rook e1, queen b6. So he'll play either queen b3 or a4. They were going to call it Deep Impact, but then Deep Blue sued them, so they couldn't do it. It was a deep move. Queen b3 was played. Hey, now they can repeat and go to the Armageddon game. Queen b4, knight c6, queen b3, knight a5. Good, good. Okay, no repeating. Queen a4, playing for the advantage. Geary can't wait to repeat. Queen b3, knight a5. Very solid and passive from black. White has a tiny advantage. Black is just going to sit there and say, you can't touch this. Black wants to play b5. Queen c7, rook e8, etc. Yeah, d5 is the normal move. This is very similar to my game with Ray Robson from 2011, our match. We had a Philidor where we played 1,000 moves of theory, and I got to an equal position. We just drew. I had the black pieces. He played d5 in a similar position. b3, playing for the win. Rook e8, pinning his pieces even more. h3, a6, bishop f1. Always play bishop f1. So Komsky's slightly better. He's going to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And Geary's slightly worse. He's going to defend, defend, defend. And we'll see Armageddon afterwards. Yay, 500 bits. Thanks, CoreGoth88. Thanks for the support. We need support. We make a living off of you guys. You guys need to support the channel or the channel goes away. No! We can't have that happen. Time is about the same. White is slightly better. Typical Komsky-Geary position. Geary's slightly worse. Komsky's slightly better. This is normal for those guys. Whoa! And Geary goes crazy like Fox News and plays e5. The engine says it's fine. He played passive long enough. That's why Geary's passive-aggressive. Too bad for Sopico. Probably bishop e3. Could take everything too and play queen f4. I'd do that. Yeah, the queen could be silly on a4. It's not, but it could be. Yeah, white doesn't have very much here. Black's really solid. Wants to play knife f5. Good idea. Black can play g6, rook e8, bishop f8, Papa John's. Kamsky did trade on a4, on e5. Now he'll play queen f4. And then you won't be afraid to have your queen on a4 because it's on f4. f4 doesn't win a piece for several reasons. First reason is it's illegal because you're being checked. Second reason is the knight could go here, or the bishop could go here. Otherwise, f4 is a good move. Bortnick needs a draw to win the match. Bortnick won the first game after Andreykin made a silly blunder at the end with queen b1. Just getting checkmated. Terrible. And they drew their first game. So if they draw this game, they go to Armageddon. b4 question mark. Knife f5. Where's my icon? Or, not icon. What's it called? Whatever it's called, where is it? There it is. Emote. Bishop d8. Too passive. Knight b1 exclam. Former muscle. Probably he'll play knight a2. Knight b1's a tougher move to make. Knight a2, you could go to c1 and d3. Or even e2 and g3. Knight b1, it seems hard to get the knight excavated. Kamsky's thinking a long time. Oh, no, Kamsky's moved. Queen f4, queen f6. Yeah, this is the engine line. The engine agrees with everything. White's still slightly better because black has this isolated pawn, but it shouldn't be enough to win. Geary has more time. So I'm expecting a draw in Armageddon. Why not? King e2. King e2. King e2? Which game? There's no game where king e2 is possible. That's why. Good reason.